ever had that sinking feeling when someone tells you they're one place, but your gut tells you otherwise? What if you could actually see where they are without confronting them and without causing a scene? I mean, their actual GPS location. So today we're going to talk about how people use technology, the latest technology, in websites like instantid.info to gain this type of information, and how they gain peace of mind by using websites like instantid.info. These things, websites like this, have been around for quite some time. However, the latest ones now incorporate GPS tracking like really we've never seen it before. We'll say the inclusion of AI now makes it possible for websites like instantid.info and other GPS tracking websites to locate a phone's, to get an exact GPS of a phone or of its location within literally seconds or maybe even a minute or so. And the technology really is amazing. Of course, it uses the GPS tracking that we all know and see in our cars and in our phones and everything else like that. But some of these other websites haven't really kind of evolved into tracking GPS location the way Instant ID can. There are many other websites out there. You maybe come across them where you enter the telephone number into that site, and it gives you a bunch of information. It'll tell you like maybe the owner of that phone number. It'll give you their name, address, and things like that. And in many cases, that information just isn't correct. I don't know if you've gone to any of these websites, and I'm certainly not going to mention any of them, but these are kind of like based on old models of, we'll say, data storage, data retention, and searching using public databases that just aren't updated regularly and that aren't just, very good at what they do. The new model of these websites is now turned toward GPS tracking and a way to get the exact GPS location of any phone from anywhere. And this can be done without installing any software or any app to that phone. And all you really have to do is enter that phone into the telephone number into the search bar of instantid.info. And then, it gives you the approximate location. But the real power of websites like this is the ability to send a text message to that phone, and it reports back that phone's exact GPS location as a push pin on a map, the street address, city, state, and everything else you'd want to know. Also, the ability to track that phone's movement over a period of time, like maybe you just want to track it for one day, one night, 1 week, whatever. You could do that. It stores all the information there. So these websites, as I said, like instantid.info, really kind of like at the forefront of this technology. I'm sure everybody has heard of AI, which is artificial intelligence. And that's what these things utilize. See, typically, if you wanted to track a phone or get its GPS location, more than likely you'd have to have the sharing location with that phone, or possibly Find My Phone has to be turned on, things like that. But these systems, the ways I'm talking about, Instant ID and other websites, have the ability to obtain the phone's location through a variety of, we'll say, information that is stored on the phone. And the way this information is stored on the phone is things that we use every single day that we don't even know about it. For instance, when you're moving around TikTok and you happen to tap on something and now you start to get advertisements for that product. When you happen to be browsing or you search for product, maybe you're looking for a drill or shoes or a dress or something like that. Every single time you do that, this is how it goes. So let's just say you're looking for a pair of shoes, right? And you see, a pair of sneakers that you like. You tap on that, and you go to the website. The first thing that website does is it records your IP address and your location by zip code or any type of means that's available to it. And why does it do that? So this way it can serve you ads when you're in certain areas for that product. And it's really great for like restaurants and things like that, because obviously as you move around, you're going to come in contact or be in the area of different restaurants. So now each restaurant can give you or serve you ads, or at least try to serve you ads based on your location. So hopefully I made that clear, because the shoes is the same thing. It can give you ads for like where shoe stores are, or where, hardware stores are if you're searching for something having to do with hardware. And this is how websites like Instant ID go about obtaining your location. They use that same information that's stored in your web browser and that's stored in your phone that has nothing to do with GPS. I should say have nothing to do with location services in your phone. So when a lot of people ask, well, how can it do it if maybe their location service is off? It doesn't matter. If the phone has GPS, if the phone has rather an internet connection, or Wi-Fi or cellular data, that's it. That's all you really need, and just the means to accept the text message. Now there are lots of uses for something like this. I mean, one of the most common uses, and you know what? Whenever I talk about things like this, yes, people always go to the negative, and they think about cheating and infidelity. And yes, this website certainly can be and probably is used for that purpose. However, if people have like an elderly person that they don't want to leave the house, or they don't want to drive the car, and maybe, they're shrewd and they shut off their location services after sharing location. Well, this would be a great way for somebody to obtain that elderly person's GPS location, even though that person may have shut off location services, may have stopped sharing their location. It doesn't matter. InstantID.info, when you send that text message to that phone, will reveal that phone's GPS location. And the great thing about it is that you don't need your own phone to send the text message, because you'll be using the Instant ID system to send that text message. And every search on Instant ID remains anonymous. So nobody will know, no matter what telephone number you're searching, it remains anonymous. They will not know that you're searching their phone number. And there is no invasion of privacy, because, you're pinging their phone in a way that will not invade their privacy. So these things can be used for a variety of reasons, and they really are. They're gaining popularity like wildfire, because people are starting to realize, hey, wait a second, I can send a text to my daughter's phone, or I can send a text to whoever's phone and get their exact GPS location right away and not have to wait for it. Also, when people are involved in infidelity, maybe like your partner or something, he or she says they're going to their friend's house. Okay, so yeah, you're going to your friend's house, but you know that they're headed someplace else, or you strongly believe they're headed someplace, that they are headed someplace else. So you can now send a text message to that phone at any time you want, and get the exact GPS location of that phone, and find out if they really are being truthful with you. This is great. It works great for teenagers. A lot of parents use this for their kids who are under 18 years of age. And, they say they're going to Billy's house when they're really at, Ted's house or something like that. And they're not allowed to be at Ted's house. Well, that's why they say they're going to Billy's. Anybody who has kids, anybody who has teenagers knows exactly what I'm talking about. And a website like instantid.info can absolutely aid a parent in maintaining, the knowledge of their child's GPS location. It's a great way to just, keep tabs on somebody and, monitor a phone's movement over a period of time, just to make sure that everyone stays safe. Now, of course, there's also the anxiety, betrayal, and everything else that goes along with infidelity. I mean, it's a horrible thing. But yes, this, as I mentioned before, this app has many, many uses, and that's one of them. Absolutely. Yes, you absolutely can send a text message to, your partner's phone, your loved one's phone, and get their GPS location, which of course would put your mind at ease, because if you're texting them and they're not replying, if you're calling them and they're not answering, and they're not sharing location with you, and maybe they're using some sort of spoofing app or a VPN to conceal their location, InstantID.info will get their exact location anyway. And that's something I wanted to touch upon as well. Some people ask, will Instant ID or a service similar to it still work if that person is using a VPN? The answer is yes, because a VPN works through the browser. And this is how it works, okay? VPN, for those of you who don't know, stands for Virtual Private Network. And it's made for the purpose of masking your phone's location. So let's just say, for instance, you are in an area of, say, the United States that doesn't allow, I don't know, maybe a baseball game from your favorite team, and you want to stream that team's game on your phone, but you live in that area, maybe the game is blacked out. So you can get to a VPN, say, in a different state where the game isn't blocked out. So now the streaming service thinks your phone is located in an area where the streaming does take place. So now you can stream that game to your phone, even though you're in an area where it actually is blocked out. So in other words, it fools the system into thinking that your phone is elsewhere, because it's logged into the internet through that computer, that VPN, which is in a different part of the country. But that doesn't stop instantid.info from revealing the phone's location, because that's not how Instant ID goes about gathering the information that reports back to you. It doesn't use location services. It doesn't use the browser in the way that it reports the IP address to and from the VPN. It works, as I said, on all those apps and everything that track you for advertisement. And that's just one way. The other ways are with location services, and are there are 3 or 4 different technologies all working at the same time. And I'm not going to get into all those because it would probably bore you to no end. But this type of stuff works. It's done a great job for helping out parents, even employers who want to keep track of employees. That employee's out there driving and moving around, whatever. Who knows what he's doing? Maybe he's stopping at his girlfriend's house for lunch when he's not supposed to. This is another great way to obtain that person's location as well. It keeps everybody kind of safe and productive, and it gives anybody who's using it gives them peace of mind.